discipline won't save you, because the real problem was never discipline. The real problem is your mental state. Your brain is overloaded, constantly distracted, constantly stimulated, constantly escaping silence. And then you wonder why you can't focus on your life anymore. You wake up, check your phone immediately. Scroll for a while, watch short videos, open 5 different apps, listen to music while thinking about 10 different things at once. And before your day even starts, your brain is already exhausted. Not physically, mentally. That's the scary part about modern addiction. Most people don't even realize they're addicted anymore, because it looks normal. Everyone is constantly consuming something. Music, videos, dopamine, nicotine, content, notifications, noise. There's always something stimulating your brain, and eventually your mind becomes so overcrowded that focusing starts feeling painful. That's why simple tasks feel impossible. Now sitting down to work feels heavy. Reading feels heavy. Being alone with your thoughts feels heavy. Because your brain got used to constant stimulation, you trained it to escape boredom. Instantly, the second silence appears. You reach for your phone, open YouTube, play music, text, someone eat something, smoke something, anything to avoid stillness. And honestly, that's why discipline alone almost never works. People think discipline means forcing yourself harder, waking up earlier, making stricter schedules, watching motivational videos, trying to become mentally tougher. But what happens? You stay disciplined for 2 days, maybe a week, and then suddenly your brain collapses right back into old habits, because exhausted minds always return to easy dopamine. That's why so many people think they're lazy, when in reality their nervous system is just overloaded. Your attention is being destroyed every single day by constant stimulation, constant comparison, constant entertainment, constant choices, and most people never give their brain time to recover. That's why you feel disconnected from your own life. Your mind is never fully present anymore. You're always half consuming something, half thinking about something else, half escaping reality. And eventually, this becomes your default state. You stop feeling sharp, you stop feeling focused, you stop feeling alive. Everything becomes blurry, and then people say, "You just need more discipline." No, sometimes you need less noise, because real focus doesn't come from pressure. It comes from clarity. And clarity only appears when your brain finally becomes quieter. That's why your environment matters so much. If your entire life is built around stimulation, your brain never gets a chance to slow down. Constant scrolling, constant music, constant notifications, constant dopamine spikes. Your mind stays trapped in reaction mode all day long, and reaction mode destroys deep focus. That's why some of your clearest moments probably happened when life became quieter. Late night walks, showers, gym sessions, long drives, moments when your brain finally stopped absorbing noise for a few minutes. And suddenly, you could actually think again. That's not random. Your brain needs silence more than motivation, because silence gives your mind room to breathe, room to think clearly instead of reacting to every impulse. And honestly, most people are terrified of that silence, because silence forces you to face yourself. It forces you to notice how distracted, overstimulated, and disconnected you've become. So instead of fixing the problem, people escape back into stimulation again, back into scrolling, back into nicotine, back into endless content, because overstimulation became their comfort zone. And this is where discipline actually starts. Not with some perfect morning routine, not with motivational speeches, not with pretending to be a productivity machine. Real discipline starts when you stop constantly feeding your brain garbage, when you protect your attention, when you reduce noise, when you stop overstimulating yourself every hour of the day. Because once your mental state improves, action becomes much easier. Focus becomes easier. Consistency becomes easier. Life becomes quieter. And in that quiet, you finally start hearing your own thoughts again. That's why discipline won't save you alone, because discipline without mental clarity eventually turns into burnout. You can't build a focused life with a distracted mind. And maybe that's the real reason you feel stuck. Not because you're weak, not because you're lazy, but because your brain never gets a moment to breathe. Maybe you don't need another productivity video. Maybe you don't need more motivation. Maybe your mind just needs less noise, because once your brain becomes quieter, everything starts changing.